It's time to kick ass and listen to the GioMoShow.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow on 88.3 FM, WXOU, Auburn Hills, Michigan, Oakland University, and all your wonderful station identification features. I am your host of the GioMoShow, Giovanni Mosheri. I am also the sports media director here at WXOU, and the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland University sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. Do not forget to follow WXOU on our MAB award-winning social media platforms. That's the Michigan Association of Broadcasters Award. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for that award-winning goodness. You can also follow us and join the Discord server for WXOU. If you want to get to know everybody at the station, get to know some of the staff, communication with all the DJs, it's great stuff. Great conversations are had in the WXOU Discord server. And finally, you can visit our website, WXOU.org, for all articles, updates, show times, everything you need to know about the station. You can find at WXOU.org. And while you're on the internet and you're looking around for all the goodness of WXOU, why don't you go and follow me as well? I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow me and the show on Instagram. Myself would be Mosheri_Giovanni. The GioMoShow would be at the GioMo Show. And you can find me at Twitter, at GIO Mosheri WXOU. So be sure to get tuned in to everything at the station, myself included, as well as the station as a whole. And if you are not with me right now on 88.3 FM, then one, you're missing out on the live GioMoShow. But in addition to that, you can find me at any time on YouTube and Spotify, just in case you're not here. I like to record the shows, and I get all the shows recorded just in case you miss it. So there's no way to miss the GioMoShow. And for today's menu, what are we going to be talking about today if you're not familiar with the GioMoShow? We're going to be talking about Oakland University sports. That includes the NCAA and that includes the club sports. Club sports is a bit shorter of an update as some of the seasons are in transition. Some of the fall seasons are coming to an end. And we got kind of the same thing with NCAA. And we also have the Lions on a bye week. Not much to talk about in terms of games. We'll kind of go through the rest of the NFL. What happened? What are some of the big headlines? Stuff that might or may not have to do with the Lions, but we'll talk about it. It was a great Week 9 of the NFL, as well as we're going to get the Week 10 picks. We're going to get those locked and loaded live here on the GioMoShow. I picked them live. I haven't, outside of the regular consumption of NFL news, then I haven't really thought about the picks themselves. So you get to see my thought process, and you get to see everything live here on the GioMoShow. And for today's interview, this is a big one. This is one that is once in a lifetime. It's one that is uncommon and one you can only find on the GioMoShow. We talked to we had 5 guests on the GioMoShow interviews, by the way. That's a new record. The previous record held by Women's Club Lacrosse It was a lacrosse team. With 4 guests, the record has now been broken in a barrier, and the bar has been set at 5 guests. That one was a lot to handle. We had to actually do it out in the lobby instead of in the back studio of WXOU. But alas, the guest for the show was 5 e-board members of Women's Club Soccer. Yeah! We get it going. Here on the GioMoShow, we get the wonderful guests for you. Also, soundboard's going pretty well for us on the show, so look forward to that throughout the show. Thank you to my brother Nino for making the soundboard. But quit dilly-dallying, Giovanni. Let's get into the show. Before we do, though, you know how we start. We got to talk about Bart's Pizza. Bart Basilico reinvented his father's pizzeria business by putting it on wheels. I'm talking a pizza food truck, baby. Bart and his wife Lauren travel all around Metro Detroit, cooking up homemade pies made fresh to order in their 4-layered pizza oven on wheels. You can find them at their website at eatbartspizza.com and Facebook and Instagram at Bart's Pizza. His last name is literally Basil. Basilico and Basil are one and the same. So with a last name like that, you know he knows what he is doing. And once you're there, be sure to get a cannoli as well for a sweet treat after your homemade pie. And where are they going to be for this month? Where are they going to be? What are they going to be doing for the holiday season? Well, only one place to look, or three rather, their websites, Facebook, and Instagram. Bart's Pizza. It's too good. And to give you guys the update on what's going on at WXOU Sports, we got a lot going on, so I want you guys to pay attention. I want you guys to write it down, and I want you guys to pay attention right here. The men's soccer team has made it to the championship game, which means Saturday at 1 p.m., you can catch WXOU on the sideline for the Men's Soccer Horizon League Conference Championship. Yeah, let's get a sound effect. Let's get an applause for that one. Saturday, 1 p.m., you can catch us on the sideline. We're still getting together. We're still getting the crew together as to who is going to be calling that, but be sure to stay tuned and pay attention to that. In addition, coming up this week, we'll have a basketball game. Men's basketball, they make their home debut at the arena, and we're going to be there against Bowling Green. That's going to be Tuesday at 7 o'clock on WXOU. And then later next week, Friday the 17th, women's basketball, they make their debut in the arena against Cleary University. That is Friday at 7 p.m. We're going to have Gavin and Joey on the call. I'll be in the studio, and for the men's basketball game, it's going to be John and Justin, and I'll be on the sideline with Harj in the studio. And finally, the last big announcement. So I mentioned that the Tuesday basketball game is going to be, Tuesday, and the game is going to be at 7. But SPB has put together a bit of a tailgate event for us. That's going to be starting at 4:30 up until 6:30 to get you ready for game time. And I just couldn't help myself. I had to get WXOU Sports involved in there. And we have established, and we are going to have, and for you guys, I hope you're going to like it. We're going to have a live tailgate pregame show for the home opener for men's basketball. Let's get an applause for that. Yeah! We're going to be live at the event. We're going to be talking to you guys about what's going on, what we're expecting to see, what's going to be going on in the game, and we're going to have a special guest. And I'm going to get another applause for this one. We got Kevin Beers, voice of the arena since 2005. Is going to be a guest on the show as well. Yeah! So be sure to find us at the event in person, but if you can't, then we're going to be live streaming it on WXOU Sports' YouTube channel, which you can go like and subscribe for that channel for all your WXOU Sports content. That's interviews, that's highlights, and that's full broadcasts and pregame live streams. So be sure to get ready and to get hyped and to get excited for all of that. And with that, let's now get to the Oakland sports. Like I mentioned before, men's soccer, they have made it all the way to the top of the mountain, but one step short. They're in the finals of the Horizon League Conference Championship, of which they are hosting. They did that with a win against Purdue Fort Wayne a couple hours ago, as a matter of fact. They were playing at 1 o'clock today, and the game wrapped up with Oakland winning 1-0. 1-0, baby, against the Mastodons. This game was a lot of fun to watch. This game, I couldn't make it. I was in class at 1 p.m., and I just was not able to make it in person for most of the event, but I kept tabs on it during class a little bit here and there, checked the score, checked what happened, some of the highlights that they were posting on Oakland men's soccer's Instagram and Twitter pages. And I was able to make actually the last 20 minutes of the game. That was a lot of fun because we got out of class a little bit early. But to take you through some of the most exciting parts of the game as I was following along, at 16-19 in the game, just about 15 minutes into the game, Oakland was granted a penalty kick. As there was a yellow card, there was a foul inside the box. Oakland was chasing down a ball kicked from about the Grizzly logo, chasing it, and they were shoved down to the ground, and the referees didn't like it, and I didn't either. So Oakland was granted a penalty kick, but Oakland did not score on this one. The keeper for Purdue Fort Wayne had his position perfect, and he got his whole body on it to keep the game tied 0-0 after that penalty kick. And then a little bit later on, Oakland, they had an opportunity to score in sweet, sweet fashion. It was Oakland on a sprint all the way up into the box, and it was a one-on-one situation with the keeper. Oakland kicks it, but it's knocked away by the Purdue Fort Wayne keeper. Bounced into another Oakland attacker, and as soon as the ball goes, that's a big wind-up kick. Purdue Fort Wayne's defender comes from the left to the right and just sweeps across and gets his leg on it to keep the game tied still. But Oakland was putting on the pressure. And then finally, that was about, let's say, the 20th minute, the 21st minute, but then the 24th minute. At 24-26, Owen Smith gets the lead for the Golden Grizzlies on a sweet, sweet goal. A crossing kick from the left to the right and right on the money, or excuse me, from the right to the left, right on the money was Owen Smith, high left in the net. It was sweet, and it got them the lead in the game, assisted by Vileahola, and that is where the scoring stopped. Purdue Fort Wayne had a couple other huge chances to get back into the game and equalize it. One actually went into the net off of a corner kick, but it was called back due to offsides. That one was a heart stopper. That one was about 35 minutes. This was all in the first half. That was about 35 minutes into the game. So that's where it ended. Oakland's on top, 1-0. They're awaiting to see who's going to be their opponent. Excuse me, I was refreshing the page here. We are awaiting to see the opponent for Oakland in the finals, and I believe it's going to be Green Bay. The number 1 seed and the number 2 seed are going to face off in the Horizon League Championship, as the Green Bay IUPUI game came to an end 2-1. So it's going to be the Golden Grizzlies against the Phoenix. So we'll see what happens. Catch it Saturday, 1 o'clock on WXOU. We'll be there. I'll be there at least, and we'll figure out the rest of the crew. But we will get you the game one way or another. So that one was really exciting. I just wanted to take you through the scene there because I was following along pretty close, and hope you guys were, could picture yourself in the stands watching the game as I was doing it. So moving on now to Oakland University Esports. We got a big update. We got a big kind of info dump of esports on the GoldenGrizzlies.com website, I guess you could say, on GoldenGrizzlies.com. And it appears that Overwatch and Super Smash Bros. Have made it to the NACE Top 16 tournament. Yeah! I'm going to be using that button a lot. I love that button. So Overwatch 2 and Super Smash Bros. Are in the top 16. Let's talk about the Overwatch. Quoting from the article that you can find on GoldenGrizzlies.com, Overwatch is boasted a 5-1 regular season record, only losing to the conference champions Boise State University. Overwatch has defeated Ferris State on October 24th, earning them a place in the national top 16 bracket. And then from head coach Carl Leone, he says, "This is a historic season for our Overwatch team. For the first time in program history, they made it to the national top 16 with no plans of slowing down. This team just keeps exceeding my expectations every season," were the words of head coach Carl Leone. And little update to that one. That article was posted on Sunday, and the team was scheduled to play Tuesday, and they did. And they qualified and advanced to top 8.
Well done!
Yeah, baby! So your Overwatch team is battling through and continuing into the NACE top 16, now top 8 tournament. And as for Super Smash Bros. In the NACE, and for those who are a little bit confused, the NACE is the National Association of Collegiate Esports. I think that's what it stands for. You can kind of think of it as the NCAA of esports. It's the more, as new as the landscape is for esports, it's the more standard college esports league that all of Oakland's varsity sports compete in. So Super Smash Bros., they made it to the top. They made it to top 16 with an undefeated 6-0 record.
Well done!
And qualified for top 16 and are the 4th seed.
Well done!
Well done's going around to the Smash Brothers team. And from head coach Carl Leone, he says, quote, "This team has potential to beat the very best teams in the country." So, a lot going on there. So be sure to check out the article. They got more information on Rocket League as well as League of Legends that we unfortunately do not have the time to get to here on the GioMoShow because we got a packed show for you guys. We talked about men's soccer. We talked about esports, and we are now going to be talking about men's basketball. Coming up, we got women's basketball and volleyball. Just to give you a little layout on the Oakland sports section. Then we'll get into club sports. Then we'll get into NFL. Then we'll get into picks. There you go, just so you know what's coming up. So for men's basketball, they played and started out their season in Ohio State. They went to Columbus, Ohio, and it's, Horizon League teams going up against Big Ten teams. It's a punching up effort for the Horizon League team, this time the Golden Grizzlies. But Campy has had experience with winning these kinds of games and winning and getting close and being competitive and, not being the pushover you would expect from a mid-major college against a Big Ten team. Nah. And especially not in this game. So, unfortunately, couldn't get any television for this one because I'm not paying for Big Ten Network. Screw that. And so I was listening to it on the radio. Thank you very much to Neil for doing a wonderful radio broadcast. I was following along the whole time, and that game was this past Monday night. So let's get some highlights from that game. So Oakland was leading in the game for 28 minutes for most of the game. Oakland had at one point a 7-point lead over the Buckeyes in the zone, and the defense was giving that Ohio State Buckeye team a lot of trouble on offense. And Oakland kept going. They were making shots. They were making threes. We saw 5 Golden Grizzlies make three-pointers in this game, and Jack Golke made the most. He made 6 three-pointers in that game.
Well done!
And led the floor with 18 points. And in addition to that, let's get to the box score here. Blake Lampman had a great three-point shooting night for himself. 4 of 7 and 5 of 9 from the field. He had 14 points. Trey Townsend was doing his thing. 7 of 16 from the floor. He made a three-pointer too. He was 1 of 2. He made both of his free throws. 9 rebounds, along with 4 assists in the game. We saw great performances by DQ Cole. He sunk a couple threes, and he got 4 rebounds. Tone Hunter, he made a great effort as well. 2 of 3 from the floor, 1 of 2 from 3, 3 of 4 from the stripe. Both him and DQ had 8 points. And then Isaiah Jones didn't do a whole lot on the stat sheet. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. As far as the stat sheet goes, kind of flies under the radar, but that's a really good performance. And I call Isaiah Jones in that game the media darling, the broadcast award, because his name was coming up all the time. He's got that long wingspan and works really well in the zone to block off passing lanes and all sorts of things. So his name was all over the place, and he had a great performance, even though he didn't make a field goal. He made a free throw, but no field goals made. And as a whole, the Golden Grizzlies, they shot 40% from 3.
Well done!
Yeah. Last year, the three-point shooting wasn't as pretty. And that's usually as far back as my history goes with the Golden Grizzlies, at least in terms of men's basketball. And I guess most athletics, I've only really been in the game for about a year now. This is year 2. But according to Campy, he talked about this in his post-game press conference with a lot of the Columbus media. And it kind of gave you a really good summary, a really good window into who the Golden Grizzlies are on the blacktop and on the basketball court. Because a lot of those reporters, obviously, they're not going to know a lot about Oakland University basketball. And with that, Campy kind of gave them a little bit of a crash course history as to what they've done in their program. They've set the record for most three-pointers in a season by one player. I forget who it is. Go on the Golden Grizzlies YouTube channel. They got the press conference, but three-point shooting is what the Golden Grizzlies do. Last year was a bit of a slump, but now with the additions of some nice three-point shooters, Blake Lampman's back. He's for his 5th year with the Golden Grizzlies. He's been there. Additions of Jack Golke, additions of DQ Cole, and the team is starting to make some better threes now, going back to their original identity. So either way, go watch the press conference. It gives you a little history for the Golden Grizzlies, and for some of us who don't know a lot about it on campus, it's a good thing to go and watch. So they now go on to face Illinois I believe tomorrow night. Let me go and make sure. But they got a bit of a Big Ten stretch going on. So they played Ohio State this past Monday. Yep, Friday, 8 p.m. They are at Illinois. I don't even know what Illinois' mascot is, but they're a very good team. And Oakland's going to have to play perfect. You know, these are kind of the words. These are loosely the words of Greg Campy, but they're going to have to play basically perfect to play the game like they did at Ohio State against now Illinois. So it's going to be a great game. I'm going to be tuning in. I'm going to be doing my best to kind of keep up to tabs with it, and I'll give you guys the details next Thursday at 6 on WXOU, although it might be 5 o'clock next week. We'll keep you posted. Follow the Instagram to be sure you know what's going on. So that's right. They go to Illinois on Friday, and then, like I mentioned before, Tuesday, 7 p.m., home against Bowling Green. And we got the WXOU tailgate pregame show for you guys. That one's going to start at about 5:30. Second half of the tailgate is when we'll have the show for you guys. Keep an eye out for it on WXOU Sports' YouTube channel. And then after that, they go to the Cayman Islands, because why not? They were in Italy earlier this summer. They were in the Bahamas last year around this time, and now they go back to the Cayman Islands. It sounds nice. Sounds real nice. So moving on now to women's basketball. Unfortunately, their game against Akron was at the same time as the men's game against Ohio State, and I only got one pair of ears, and a lot of my attention went to the men's team. Forgive me, but turns out I missed out. Turns out that they played into double overtime. They won in double overtime.
Well done!
I'm playing with the soundboard here. But, yeah, women's basketball, they played their first game at Akron. You know, both the teams were going to Ohio. They played at Akron against the Zips. I don't know what a zip is.
What?
I don't know what a zip is either. But, nevertheless, the Golden Grizzlies, they played a great, great game against the Zips. They played them at home last year to start the season, and I believe, I think I was there for that one, but I believe they won last year's kind of season opener or one of the beginning games at home against Akron. So to see him do it again is awesome. Linda Van Schaik led the team with 21 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, and made 4 of 8 free throws, along with 3 rebounds, along with an assist. We got Kiani Westbrook, 6 of 10 from the field with 13 points, 3 rebounds. And Brooke Quarles-Daniels, 3 of 11, and I would imagine, this is my inference. I didn't see the game. I didn't hear the game. But my inference is that Quarles-Daniels is the focus of a team's defense against Oakland. So 3 of 18, I'm sure that they were making her work for it. But with that work comes free throws. And she made 6 of her 6 free throws.
Well done!
Yeah, baby. That's 12 points for Quarles-Daniels. So it was a great game for Oakland to start off the season at Akron. And then they followed that up with, they got a tough few games here. They played at Michigan State. This was last night, Wednesday night, at the Breslin Center. Final score was, one second, I only have Oakland's score here. Final score of the Golden Grizzlies at the Spartans was 62-87, which, not good. But, oh well. I thought there would be I don't have a sound effect for that one, sadly. But it's tough. That's tough sledding. Going up against, in the Big Ten's house. And now they follow that up. They chase that with U of M. Tuesday, 7 p.m. at Ann Arbor. And after that game, then they come back Friday, 7 p.m., Friday the 17th, 7 p.m., against Cleary University for the 8P staff night. Forgot that to be the theme game. And I also forgot to mention the Bowling Green game, in addition to there being a tailgate, in addition to there being a live pregame show, in addition to us covering the game, it is the themed game of Campy's 40th season. This, that's the home start of his 40th season with the Golden Grizzlies. Yeah, baby. Yeah, give him the applause. They weren't even the Golden Grizzlies when he showed up. They were still the Pioneers. But he's been there through it all, and we celebrate that. Anyway, back to the chronology of what we're talking about here. So we talked about men's soccer. We talked about esports. We talked about men's basketball. We talked about women's basketball. And now we're going to wrap it up with volleyball. So volleyball, as it currently stands, they are third in the Horizon League with 1 week left to go in the regular season before the tournament starts. And this past Saturday at Cleveland State, coming off a tough loss to Green Bay at home after that Oakland had a 3-game homestand, they traveled to Cleveland State to face the Vikings and brought it all the way up to 5. Teams were trading blows. One set was Cleveland State, the other was Oakland, and then Cleveland State, and then Oakland, and Oakland again in set 5 to win it against the Cleveland State Vikings. And they followed that one up. They followed that game up with a quick little trip home this past Tuesday against the IUPUI Jaguars, who were second to last in the Horizon League. Yeah. Clean sweep of the Jaguars to get things rolling here. Now they're on the road going to making their Wisconsin trip. They're going to be facing Green Bay tomorrow. That's tomorrow night, and then Milwaukee Saturday afternoon. For the final 2 games of the Horizon League, and Oakland's got a chance here. The volleyball team's got a chance to jump from third, and within their own control, they can make it to second. And with a little bit of luck with Wright State, they can make it to the number 1 seed in the Horizon League. So it's a big, big Wisconsin trip for the Golden Grizzlies volleyball team. And I'll give you all the updates. We'll give you the scoop next week on the Joe Show. You know how we do it. I'll give you the update. I'm not just going to leave you hanging 1 week to another. The story continues. And that one is going to wrap up this section of the Joe Show Oakland Sports Update. Talk about all kinds of sports here, as we're now in a bit of a transition between the fall sports and the winter sports, and sometimes that transition includes all of them. How many? All of them. So, a lot to cover here. So, if you missed it, then you can find the section in the segment on YouTube and Spotify as well, just so there's no way to miss the Joe Show. And before we go into break, I got a little message for you guys. Friday Night Grooves, Fridays at 8 p.m. on WXOU, hosted by DJ RBJ. Since 2011, Friday Night Grooves is your home for some of the best soul, the best jazz, the best electronic, the best indie and alternative music here at the station. DJ RBJ also has interviews with local artists and artists that he plays on air, as well as he has one of the best voices in the radio game. You got to listen to it, man. The way he transitions into songs, his voice, it's nice and deep and bass, full of bass, and it makes the speakers shake. He's got one of the best voices in the game. So be sure to tune in Fridays at 8 p.m. for Friday Night Grooves with DJ RBJ. We're going to be right back here on the Joe Show for the second half, which includes club sports and the NFL for your football therapy. We'll be right back here on the Joe Show.
Baba Booey.
And we're back here on the Joe Show. Thank you to the Baba Booey to getting us into the show. Let me get one more.
Baba Booey.
Can we get one more?
Baba Booey.
There we go. So we're back here on the Joe Show. I'm Giovanni Mosheri. I'm your host of the Joe Show, sports media director of WXOU as well. And now we get into the club sports section of the Joe Show. We love our club sports here. And it's obviously, you hear the word club sports and you're like, what? I didn't know we had club sports. What is club sports? That's where I come in. I want to fill you guys in. I want to tell you guys all about our wonderful club sports here at Oakland University. And that's going to start us off with D1 ACHA hockey. So this past Friday, the Golden Grizzlies faced the Kent State Golden Flashes, which I'm not going to lie, Golden Grizzlies against the Golden Flashes, that's a pretty sweet matchup in terms of the mascot names. But unfortunately, it ended in an Oakland loss. This one was at home at Suburban Ice Rochester and didn't go well, but not to fear. The Golden Grizzlies will be continuing their season. Obviously, they're not going to stop the season from a loss, but they will continue their season. Where are they? Oh, actually, they traveled to Kent State as well the following day. So it was a home game against Kent State, and then they went to Kent State. I don't believe I have the results for both of the games, but nonetheless, they go on to play at Eastern Michigan Friday the 10th. So that's tomorrow. They go on to play the Eastern Michigan Eagles, and then Tuesday the 21st they play Adrian College against the Bulldogs. So you can always find information on your D1 club hockey team at oaklandhockey.org or on Twitter at Oakland Hockey or on Instagram at Oakland Hockey. They got the very easy and very rememberable tags for their social media and stuff. So be sure they got summaries, they got their schedules up, they got everything you need about your D1 hockey team. And with that brings us to the D3 hockey team. And don't be confused, voice crack. We have two hockey teams. We have two club hockey teams, both in the ACHA, one in the D1 that I just talked about, and now in the D3, which we're going to be talking about. So last week, the Golden Grizzlies, they as the number 7 team in the country, according to the latest power rankings.
Well done!
Oh, yeah. Number 7, Oakland University faces number 2, Hope College. The Dutch, I believe, is their mascot, but I don't know for sure. Their logo is an anchor, but we'll just refer to them as Hope College. But at home at Buffalo Wild Wings Arena, Oakland they gave them the business. They took the number 2 team at home and put 8 points on the back of their net. Final score was 8-3, Oakland win, and then they traveled over to Hope themselves. That's kind of how the schedules go. They'll play one team at home, and then the next day they'll go to their place to play. It's in kind of a 2-game series kind of deal. And in the away game at Hope College, at the Dutch, in Holland, the game was very, very close. Oakland was down 2-1 with 4 minutes left to go. I'm going to lighten up on the sound effect. But Oakland was down 2-1 with about 4 minutes left to go in the game. And Oakland was able to tie the game within those 4 minutes to bring it to overtime. Unfortunately, overtime is where Oakland saw their defeat to Hope College. But that's the number 2 team in the country. And you not only kicked the crap out of them at home, not only that, I should say, you brought it to overtime in their house. So, to me, I'm going to give that a nice big...
Well done!
Yeah. So, for more information on your Golden Grizzlies D3 hockey team, you could go to their website, and it's a long title, but I'll just give it anyway. They keep up on social media as well at www.oaklandhockeyd3.acha.hockeytech.com. Did you get it? I'll leave it in the description of the video here. And you can follow them at OU_D3_hockey. That's a better place to go to at least as a gateway to the rest of their information as well. And women's club soccer, the team that I interviewed here on the GioMoShow this past week, that one's going to be going up at 7 o'clock right after the show on YouTube and Spotify. Yeah. We talked to... Oh, I'm not going to risk missing any of the names, but we had 5 guests on the show, 5 members of the E-Board, and it was a great conversation. And I'll leave that as your segment for women's club soccer, but they're going to, I'll give you the synopsis, the reason of the importance for this interview. They're going to be going to Round Rock, Texas, to face and to compete as one of 24 teams in the entire country in the NERSA National Championship Tournament. This is the first time in Oakland University club history, in women's club soccer history, that they have been invited to this tournament. So this is big. This is a big deal, and it's a testament to all the hard work that not only the team has done, but the institution part of it. You know, the Golden Grizzlies are the director of club sports, Kyle Reese. The team gave him a lot of credit. I'm going to give him a lot of credit as well for getting them to this tournament. And if you don't know who Kyle Reese is, well, I got an interview with him on the GioMoShow. I love that sound effect. But I got an interview with him. If you scroll down in the GioMoShow interviews playlist on my YouTube channel, you could just find it at the GioMo Show. I got a conversation with him. I learned about his background. I learned about what he does. So to kind of connect the dots and put the pieces together for you guys in terms of the club sports world, that's a great place to start. So be sure to check out that interview, YouTube, Spotify, 7 o'clock, right after the show. Club softball, they played a triple-header at Michigan State to end the fall season. And women's club rugby, their fall season has also come to a conclusion. So well done to all of the fall club sports. And the GioMoShow is going to be keeping up the best way they can with the club sports. I believe we got some of the more winter sports coming up soon. I'll get the scoop on it. I'll get you guys the information on it. But the spring is when a lot of these club sports will kind of come out of hibernation as well. So we got plenty to cover here on the GioMoShow. And that is going to wrap up the club sports section of the GioMoShow. We talked about, in the intro, all of the places to go find WXOU, our upcoming broadcasts, upcoming events, upcoming games. We talked about Oakland NCAA sports, all teams that I could find and squeeze into that segment. We talked about that. We talked about club sports. And if you missed all of it and you're just joining me now with 23 minutes left to go in the show, that's on you, bub. But you can find it on YouTube and Spotify so you never miss the GioMoShow. And before we go into break, I got to tell you about tonight's show. Thursdays at 10 p.m., the Eli Andrew Show. Listen in for some of the hilarity. They have guest interviews every week. And at 10 p.m., the FCC guidelines died down a little bit. And Eli Sepulveda and Andrew Deacon ask their guests wacky, wonderful, and insightful questions that they don't know they're going to ask. Eli will write down questions and give it to Andrew to ask, and Andrew will write down questions to give Eli to ask. So both the hosts don't know what they're going to ask until they read it. It's a great show, and I hope you guys tune in. This week they have Jean Ann, kind of the head honcho, kind of the runs the show, the woman who runs the show here at the Oakland Center. We're going to have her on the show, or they're going to have her on the show. Be sure to tune in 10 p.m. for the Eli Andrew Show. And we'll be right back for your football therapy on the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM, WXOU. We'll be right back.
Baba Booey.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM, WXOU. I'm Giovanni Mosheri, your host of the GioMoShow and sports media director at WXOU. And it's time for football therapy. Yeah! It is time to give you what you need. And it is time to talk about the NFL. And the Lions didn't play this week. Obviously, they have a bye week. They came off a big win on Monday Night Football against the Raiders. And then they get to sit back and relax and kind of visit family and get their thoughts together and kind of get that great refresher that they need over the bye week. And that means that the rest of us got to watch some of the other teams in the NFL. And I'm going to kind of breeze through, kind of give you a synopsis of what happened in Week 9 in the NFL. So some of the headlines that immediately jump out to me is... Did you watch the Seahawks-Ravens game? Ooh-wee. The Seahawks got dumped on by the Ravens, just like we did. So I don't feel as bad about it anymore. The Ravens will just do this to any NFC team. Because why would we need to give the Ravens more than 1 week of preparation? The rest of the NFL, they got to keep a little bit of a book. They got to kind of keep tabs on Lamar Jackson and that unique offense and that unique team. Not even just the offense, but the defense, man. Wow. That defense is reminiscent of defenses in the past of the Ravens. Some of that Ray Lewis stuff, some of that Ed Reed stuff, some of that Terrell Suggs stuff. That defense is really good, too. And they're just a really good team. And with the... What was the final score of it? It was 37-3.
What?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's the one I was looking for. So I don't feel as bad about the loss that we had to the Ravens, because from the looks of it, that's just going to happen. And that's just what the Ravens are going to do, and that's what's going to happen if you don't prepare adequately for one of the more unique teams in the NFL. So, in addition to that, as far as the headlines go, the Frankfurt, Germany game, the Chiefs against the Dolphins, what was supposed to be a Chiefs game, and obviously it's not, they're in Frankfurt, Germany, but that game was close. That game was a little bit of back and forth, but I can't stand the Chiefs, dude. Their offense stinks. They are not who they usually are. They don't have anybody to throw to, and all it is Mahomes and Kelsey and Taylor Swift. Oh my God, I can't stand that stuff.
What?
Yeah, I don't care, man. And it's definitely died down a little bit, and there's more people like me that are getting sick of it, vocally getting sick of it. So it's not as prominent anymore. Yeah, yes, it's true. But it's that. It's the offense that stinks. And they're a defensive team now. That's what they are. Their defense is good, and that's okay. And it was good enough to stop the white hot Miami Dolphins team. A team who is officially on fraud watch. A team that will kick the crap out of crap teams, but then the crap is kicked out of them against good teams. So, it just, is that who they are? I mean, they're just going to have to prove it otherwise. And, you know, I was hearing some people talk about it, like, yeah, they're frauds. They can't beat good teams, and that's what you're going to have to do in the playoffs if you're going to be there. But if they happen to start learning how to do that in the playoffs, then whatever, right? So the Dolphins are just weird. I want them to be good because they're just a sweet team. They're so much fun to watch, and it's, you know, and their defense is solid. Their defense is all right. You know, they got some of the best corners in the game. Xavier Howard. They got now Jalen Ramsey back, and you know, I can't remember his name. Christian Williams, I think, something Williams. That hilarious D tackle that they have. I love that. I love the Dolphins, man. Mike McDaniel's obviously hilarious. I love his charisma. I love his story. I love how he put 70 on the team that he loved growing up, but they didn't love him. So I just wish they were better, man. But they're not. They're on fraud watch. Moving on to the rest of the headlines in the NFL. Josh Dobbs is signed to the Vikings, and within days comes out with his first win, a commanding win, a win that he sufficiently participated and led the team in with multiple touchdowns, and the astronaut went to the moon.
Well done!
He's got a great story. He's been everywhere. He is a journeyman's career compacted and condensed into a single season. He's been on so many teams this past year. The Browns twice. He was in Arizona. He was at the Lions, apparently, undocumented. Not really documented, but he's just been everywhere, tossed around, but he keeps a good attitude about it. And it's a great story. You can't not root for the guy. And I like what he's doing. However, it's the Vikings. They're now the 7th seed in the NFC. And an NFC that's not as... Well, I kind of go back and forth on whether the NFC is weak or not, but I feel like it's kind of evened out with the AFC a little bit because the AFC is stacked and loaded, but some of the teams are just kind of not meeting the expectations that everyone thought. At least to the eye test, at least as a whole for the conference. But anyway, I digress. But the Vikings are the 7th seed now, and they're 5-4, and they're on a 4-game win streak. And I'm not worried about them taking the division, but I'm more worried than I was before. A 1 out of 10 is more than a 0 out of 10. So they're climbing up a little bit, and as it stands right now, the Lions are the 2 seed, and they would play the Vikings at home as their 7th seed. So part of me would be kind of fine with it because we just kind of kick the crap out of the little brother in the division at home to kind of keep the momentum going. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I kind of switch gears with a different topic here, but I saw a tweet go out and it posed the question. I believe it was, I don't know who asked it actually, but either way, I saw it on Twitter, and the question was, would you rather be the 1 seed with the bye week, or would you rather be the 2 seed and keep the momentum and keep the routine going? And I thought about it, and I would say that I kind of like having the 2 seed because the NFL and the season is such a routine. It's such a constructed and structured routine that I can imagine that having a week off like that would kind of mess up the mojo a bit. Now, it's the home field advantage thing as well, so you kind of have that thrown into there. But for me, I kind of would rather have the 2nd seed just because it's easy to continue a routine than it is to stop and start again. Because humans are habitual creatures. We know that. And, you know, if you go to the gym every day, it's a lot easier to keep going than it is to stop for a week and then have to rebuild and start again. You know, me personally, I would prefer consistency. So maybe I would like to do the 2nd seed thing, but I would like home field as well. So there's a balance to it. I would still take the 2 seed. Not that I don't want the Lions to get the 1st seed. I want them to get the 1st seed. They have a path to get the 1st seed. And, you know, to say you're the best is sweet too. So either way, just get top 2, Lions. Come on now. And scrolling through some of the rest of the headlines that are going around, just kind of stuff I was generally hearing. The Falcons stink. Wow. What? I don't know what's going on with them. They started off 2-1. Then they faced the Lions and got guillotined. And it just stink, dude. Oh, yeah. They don't use Bijan. They don't use Kyle Poops. I can't say that on air, but they don't use Kyle Pitts. And I don't understand it. Coach Arthur Smith had to shave his mustache, I would imagine, out of shame.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Because this guy stinks. And the Falcons are just weird. And they took too long to bench their quarterback and to send in the new one that they got on during the offseason. And they're 4-5 right now. Yes, they still technically have a shot at the division, but that's because the division is also NFC South, man. Yeah. Some of the other headlines was the what else is happening? I'm scrolling through here. Jim Irsay, after the Colts win against the Panthers, Jim Irsay was probably coked out of his mind, dancing in the locker room, and it was a combination of like, oh, this is super hype to this is weird and kind of funny. So I saw the mixed feelings on everyone's faces in the locker room, and that was kind of cool too. Scrolling farther down to the primetime games, we had Eagles and Cowboys. That game's always fun. I love the clip, and Jason Kelce mentioned what he was doing, but they had like in a commercial transition, like they had the panned shot of Jason Kelce, like mouth completely open, just screaming into the face of his opposing D tackle. Just like, if you were to draw a cartoon character screaming, that's what he was doing. Like holding him to his face, screaming at him. It was later revealed that he was laughing in his face. That is so funny to me. I love that. I absolutely love that. But the Cowboys, dude, the Eagles were begging you to win that game. The last drive, you had 45 seconds. Eagles have like 3 penalties in a row. And you're at the 8 or the 6 yard line. You're within the 10. And
you blew it!
Yeah, dude. They got some penalties of their own. They got delay of games. And it's like, what are you doing? Dude. I always root for the underdog, and the Eagles being the 1 seed right now. Yeah, I'd like the Cowboys to kind of cut into that. But it's just, dude, there was a path for you to shut everybody up. Oops. Voice broke. But there was a path for you to silence the haters a little bit. And you didn't, because...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Moving on. Bengals and Bills was a good game. Controversial take, I don't care about DeMar Hamlin anymore. It's in terms of a story, in terms of airtime, and because obviously, let's be serious here for a second. It was a near tragedy what happened last time these two teams faced in the regular season. It caused unique situations, and the medical staff and everybody followed everything they were supposed to do to a T, and it saved the man's life. It's a great story. But the story is over. He's back. He's still playing. He's not starting, and he wasn't a superstar to where he deserves the coverage because of his play. He is getting all the coverage because of what happened. And that was last season, man. Get him off the TV. Let him move on. And just, let it be, man. It already happened. So, that was obviously the story that they did over and over again. But the Bengals have dug themselves out of a grave.
Well done!
They're 5-3 now, and they're as threatening as they usually are. And then Chargers and Jets. Yeah. Jets are terrible. Chargers beat a bad team, I would say, and I'm not worried about that coming into the game against the Lions. I'm going to give that a couple of minutes here, and, man, it looks like I might be running out of time for the picks, and I'll do what I did a couple of weeks ago. So, you know what? I don't believe we're making a decision. We're making producing decisions here live here at WXOU, but pretty sure that there's nobody after me in terms of the show. So I'm just going to continue and go a little bit over time here and give you the right time, give you the proper time that should be given to the NFL picks for Week 10 and some coverage on what my thoughts are on the Chargers against the Lions game coming up this week. So we're going to keep it rolling here as long as it takes here on the GioMoShow. And I just hope there's nobody behind me. If there is and you're in the studio, knock on the door. But I'm just going to keep going. So, Chargers and Jets, I'm not scared. That's not true. I'm a little bit scared. So, Keenan Allen has surpassed 10,000 yards. That's awesome. That's just straight up awesome. And let me get the box score up from that last game, actually. Yeah, so Keenan Allen, 8 receptions, 77 yards, along with 23. And the thing is, for the Chargers and the matchup against the Lions, so Lions are traveling to Los Angeles. Now, is the trip itself worth noting? Maybe. The time zone thing, but I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's something that the Lions should be able to overcome and not make an excuse out of. I'm not going to make an excuse out of it. But what I will, and what is worrying me a little bit about this game, is that Chargers are talented. Very, very talented. And to describe their level of talent, I will do what all radio hosts do, is to just list names and not elaborate. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, and Justin Herbert. Well, that's it. That's the whole segment. Of course not. But that's usually how people will do it. It's like, argument with this team. Well, player. And that's it. That's where they stop. I'm putting all that together and to say and to elaborate on it is that the team has the capability, has the peak, has the ceiling of complete destruction. They have some of the best talent in the league. Maybe are they a little bit top-heavy? Maybe. But I don't see it that way. Can they run the ball? Absolutely not. That's not what they do. Their running back is better equipped and is more suited to being a what I call a thick receiver. Austin Eckler catches a lot of balls a game. That's what he's good at. So for the Chargers, they can't run the clock. Yes, it's an issue. And it's something that has, came back to bite them in the playoffs. where they let the Jacksonville Jaguars come back from a huge lead. Yeah, anyway. But point is yeah, they're not going to be able to kind of control the clock like we can as the Lions, but they're still super, super talented. They got receivers that could catch just about anything and a quarterback that could throw just about anything. And they got defenders that they got two guys on each end that can really pinch and pincer you in the pocket. And they got some other studs on the team as well. So their capability is what scares me. But I saw a bunch of inspirational, like, alpha male, sigma male TikToks of Mike Tomlin saying, it's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. It's not what you're capable of, it's what you're willing to do. I like that. That's a great quote in and of itself. And he elaborates and he says, like, I know a lot of people that are capable. I know fewer people that are willing. So this could be that kind of case. The Chargers have the capability for destruction, but do they have the will to do it? Will their coach botch this one too? Will the fact that they can't really control the clock well come back to bite them against a team that can control the clock in the Lions? So that's what I'm kind of thinking of with this matchup. It's interesting. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm expecting the Lions to win. I'm predicting the Lions are going to win. But this is one of the tougher teams that you're going to be facing for the rest of the schedule. It's the Chargers. It's maybe Minnesota at the end, and the Cowboys. Those are the toughest games that you have on the schedule. The rest are super favorites, we'll say, for the Lions. So this game is going to be one of the few opportunities that you have to not be the Dolphins, to not be the team of who have you really beaten. Lions are going to have to make a statement in Los Angeles this weekend. I believe they can. There's rumors about David Montgomery coming back. There's whispers and there's thoughts about it. That would be fantastic. I would love to have him back. And I don't buy the whole Jahmyr Gibbs deserves more touches thing when Montgomery comes back. Because, Jahmyr Gibbs has proven to be worth his draft pick, or at least ability and capability-wise. He's proven to be what is advertised. So when you have the main guy, the bell cow, the run between the tackles, the tough guy, the ooh-rah-rah kind of guy come back in David Montgomery, then that just means you have two really good running backs. It doesn't mean that you have to focus on one guy because he did something more recently. No. You have two good options, and you use them that ends in the best result. It's not that complicated. It's not you have to prove that he was worth the 12th pick by using him. No. You have the luxury of two fantastic different styled running backs. So, use them accordingly. That's it. And you got a great offensive coordinator manning the show. So let's just see what happens. We'll see who... Is it going to be a Montgomery game or is it going to be a Gibbs game? We'll see. We have the option of both. So I just want people to be more appreciative of what we have instead of argumentative within what we have. So that's where I'm at with that. I think it's going to be a great game. I expect the Lions to win and advance to 7-2. Right? 7-2 would be the record, right? Hold up. Let me make sure I'm doing math. Let's go math. Yep, 7-2 would be after a win at Los Angeles. So that is my football therapy segment about what happened in the NFL and my thoughts on the Lions and Chargers. So what does that leave us with? We're now in the GioMoShow overtime, and we're going to be getting to the picks. Yes, finally. Yes, finally. The voice is waning a little bit. But finally, we get to the GioMoShow picks. Week 10 of the NFL is upon us. I am not doing so well in my picks. I am dwindling, and I am regressing as far as the season goes. Let me show you what I'm talking about in terms of that. So the games that I pick are just straight up. I don't pick spreads. You know, this ain't a gambling show. I'm just picking who's going to win in a friendly league with some coworkers. So far how I'm doing, I used to be number 1 and number 2, 3, and I am now all the way down to 30. Yeah. So the way my weeks have been going is I started off week 1 with 8 picks right.
Well done!
And then 11.
Well done!
9, 10, 9, 7, 5, 11.
Well done!
7. And now that brings us to week 10. I'm going to be climbing up the ranks, baby. We're getting back. I was at the top and I could get back to it. So that starts us off with Thursday Night Football tonight. It is the Carolina Panthers at the Chicago Bears. Oh, my God. This primetime slot sucks. Al Michaels deserves better. I love Al Michaels, man. And the whole joke. And I love it how it's not that he's not interested in his job anymore. It's that what he's given to call stinks. And I love that. Everyone is like, free Al, man. This blows. Allegedly, the next week's primetime slots are going to be better. But for now, it's the Panthers at the Bears. I'm taking the Bears. And now, Indianapolis is traveling to New England. New England is also a little bit of... So, Indy, I think, is the better team. And I've seen headlines and thumbnails of videos of some real turmoil going down in New England. So, amongst the dysfunction, I'm taking the road team in Indianapolis. Cleveland at Baltimore. Wow. They put this one at a 1 p.m. slot. You got to be kidding me. This one deserves prime time. You got the two most elite defenses clashing in a huge battle in the AFC North. It's one of those, I've heard them called paint-swapping affairs, those ugly, ugly games. But the matchup is going to have to go to the home team. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens because their defenses, I would say, are, you get the edge to Cleveland, sure, but the Ravens are right there. And the Ravens' offense is so much better than the Cleveland offense. So that's kind of how I match up teams, where it's like I take their defense versus their defense, and I take their offense versus their offense, and kind of go from there. So Baltimore is out, we'll say equivalent on defense and better on offense. Thus, they're the better team. They're at home. Give me the Ravens. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Gross. So, I don't know, man. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I don't really have analysis for this one. Both the teams stink. Their offenses are not very good. I'm going to take the home team and the more experienced coach, and we'll just go from there. So, Houston at Cincinnati. Houston is doing really, really good. And Cincinnati is also doing really, really good. And I feel like I'm feeling an upset here. I'm feeling that the Texans can go into... I can't. No, I've tried talking myself into it. I just can't. I'm taking Cincinnati. I love what Houston's doing. I love that Stroud is actually a good Ohio State quarterback. I love that for him. But the Cincinnati Bengals are some of the best in the league. So we're going to give it to the best in the league at home. Moving on, New Orleans at Minnesota. Minnesota is coming off of a magic carpet ride kind of game with Josh Dobbs, the astronaut, the Pastronaut, which I think is hilarious. I love a good nickname, the Pastronaut. Against New Orleans, I keep hearing about New Orleans. I keep hearing that I have a good defense. I keep hearing about how the team is good, but every time I watch them, they're no good. Every time I watch them, it's weird. And they blow a game against the Packers early in the season, but for the sake of a road team, I'm stuck here because you could say that the Josh Dobbs magic runs out and that the game prior was just kind of a fluke, kind of a lucky game. But I'm going to keep going with the Saints, man. Taysom Hill is one of 4 in history with a triple-double in touchdowns in rushing, passing, and receiving, which is such a sweet stat. I love that. We need more players like Taysom Hill, man. Are you kidding me? We need more Hills. Because those are exciting players. They could do it. They could do it all. And you never know what they're going to do, so that gives them the advantage. Moving on, San Francisco at Jacksonville. San Francisco's been on a skid. San Francisco has been doing poorly lately. And they're facing Jacksonville, a very good team, one of the best running backs in the league. Actually, 2 of the best running backs going at it, in Christian McCaffrey and Travis Etienne. And what's San Francisco at right now? So they're 5-3. Jaguars are 6-2. Oh, man. I kind of feel like San Francisco can win on the road, kind of get back in the race. But I'll say San Francisco. It's an upset with a good team. They just added Chase Young. We'll see if that ends up being true. I'll take San Francisco in this one. Tennessee at Tampa Bay. I don't know how to pick these teams, man. Tennessee, I don't know what they do. Now I'm hesitating and thinking about it. They got Will Levis now. At Tampa Bay, honestly, give me the Titans in this one. Give me the Titans because I love what Will Levis is doing. I love the game that he had with 4 touchdowns. I love that Tennessee actually has offensive options. And they're usually a stout team on defense. And, in general, they still got Derrick Henry. But you got Derrick Henry against big run-stopping unit in Tampa Bay at home. Oh, I'm hesitating on this one. Man. You know what? I'm going with the Titans. Tampa Bay doesn't really have a good home record this year. So let's go with the original pick. We'll go with the Titans. Atlanta at Arizona. Yay. Oh, my God. So, Atlanta stinks. They don't know how to use their weapons. They don't know what they're doing. Arizona, I really don't know what they're doing. But they're at home. I'll take the Falcons in this one. I'm taking a lot of road teams so far, but Atlanta, I don't trust them. Nope, I'm not putting my faith in the Falcons. I feel better with Arizona. They have a bit of more of positive energy around them. And yeah, we're betting energies. We're picking energies. Detroit at Los Angeles. Give me the road team and the Lions. We talked about it before. New York at Dallas. Dallas, stop it. New York, the Giants, they broke their quarterback's neck, and they have no idea what they're doing. And they're tanking, and they're going to get one of the top quarterbacks in the draft next year. They stink.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Washington at Seattle. Seattle got the crap kicked out of him by Baltimore, but I do dig. I like Seattle as a team, though. I think that, and this is at Seattle, too, so this is literally ocean to ocean. Usually, I don't put a whole lot of stock into that if you're a good team, but this is the Commanders. So, give me the home Seahawks. Give me the 12. Wrapping up here. Sunday Night Football. It's the Jets and the Raiders.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Dude, come on. This is prime time. Jets at Las Vegas. I like the vibes in Vegas. I like what Antonio Pierce is doing with the team. Give me the Raiders. I love Max Crosby, dude. I told you I love a good nickname. The Condor is an awesome nickname. I would say it's the best current nickname in the NFL. That's not just initials. That's not a one letter of the first name, the few letters of the last name. It's a nickname. It's a title. The Condor. I love it. And finally, wrapping up this overtime section of the GioMo Show, Denver at Buffalo. If you're Buffalo, you're in panic mode. This is This is the station's on fire. This is absolute panic. The walls are caving in. The submarine is leaking. And it's a 5-alarm fire. I gotta give it to Buffalo. Because they have to win this one. And if not, then you got, probably not the Jets, but you got Miami taking that division. So, for that sake, and the Denver Broncos are not that good. So, give me the better home team. Point total, I don't know how to do these very well, but I can imagine against the kind of a soft defense of Denver that they would score 21 to 24. Broncos, I can see them getting 14. So let's do some math here. I'm an engineering student. I could do math. 28. 24 plus 17. That's 41. I'll put it at 41. Final score, I'll say 24-17. That's a pretty vanilla score. And that has wrapped up the GioMoShow picks, the GioMoShow football therapy, the GioMoShow Oakland club sports, and the GioMoShow NCAA Golden Grizzlies sports. We came to the finish line. We're here. And for those of you who sat around and listened to me for an extra 15 minutes on the GioMoShow for overtime, thank you very much for listening. This has been your home for Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. This has been Giovanni Mosheri. This has been the GioMoShow. We'll see you right back here Thursdays at 6 on WXOU for more sports action.